that constant up and down and unpredictability of what you're experiencing can be mentally very draining, because you think, oh, I'm doing great right now. Maybe I can go see my grandma next week and I can work out with her in the garden. That's great. But then that just suddenly turns like, okay, now I'm not able to do anything right now. And that's just kind of, I think, just difficult and affects mental health a lot as well.
And I think to your earlier point, Heidi, you had talked about how acceptance is not giving up. And I think that is so, so important here. It's like getting to the point of acceptance when you live with a chronic illness can be really, really hard because of the fact that it is so unpredictable. It's really hard to accept what your new normal looks like, because your new normal looks much, much different than it probably did pre-chronic illness, just because of the nature of these illnesses. And so I think that's a very important thing, is you need to be able to get to a point in acceptance with chronic illness, because that's the only way that you're going to be able to maintain your physical and mental health through it as best you possibly can. And it's really, really hard to get to that point. I don't want to diminish the fact that getting to acceptance is easy. It's not. It's really, really difficult, because it's like you said, it's a trauma. It's a huge traumatic life change, and it takes a while to get there.
And sometimes, actually, it's even back and forth. There are days where it's much easier for me to accept than others. And I think, when y'all were talking about somebody even what's going to cause a flare. I did this week and I was fine. And the next week I did it and I ended up in bed for a couple of days. And I think for me, it's just that almost a daily choice of acceptance. And like I said, some days it's easier. I find the days that it's harder for me are the days when I'm in a lot of pain, or the days where I see it affecting those around me. And those are the hardest days for me to accept, because I feel like they've been given a life sentence that they didn't sign up for, and it can make it challenging. And it's something that's not a one and done kind of. I accept it now. I'm good for the rest of my life. It's something I'm coming to terms with on different levels every day.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the main advice I actually give my past self, which is really, really important now, is I wish that somebody had told me to take care of my mental health when I was going through everything with my physical health, because I have definitely dealt with the consequences of not processing that trauma, not processing that change and that life thing in the time. And because of that, I'm still really working to get myself out of that place. So, I'm taking my own advice now, and I was already seeing a therapist. So I'm going to make sure I bring this up, make sure that I'm talking about it, at least with this one person, even if I don't talk about it with anyone else, because I know that this is going to have an impact on my mental health. Now I'm trying to get ahead of it because I have that experience in my back pocket.